Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. We are here with some strategy videos and a new rifle for the season. So we're going the semi-auto route. So this is a AR-15 basically, but it's a 22 conversion. It's got a 1 in 16 twist barrel. We got the Athlon Midas TAC scope on there, and a bolt carrier group by CMMG. So lots of things learning as I go along with this. So if you want to know more about this rifle, make sure you subscribe, leave some comments down below. We'll talk about it more in future videos. But today we got to go over the July course of fire. Today is the 4th of July. So happy Independence Day. And we have a lot to go over. This is quite the course of fire. A little bit complicated. Get some knee pads and maybe some elbow pads, because there's a lot of low positions that we have to talk about. But with that being said, we just need to jump right into it because we have a lot to cover. And like I said, we're trying out the semi-auto. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, so stage 1 is actually off the tripod, which is new. So instead of using the tripod as rear support, we're using the tripod as the actual barricade prop itself. I'm going to have some dry fire targets downrange with QR code for AB Quantum, preloads the entire match for you. So if you want those are available on Patreon. But the stage description is as follows. On the start signal, engage the targets with 1 shot each in the following order and manner. So from the tripod, we're doing the far targets, large to small. Then we're going to go prone, engage a KYL, large to small, then tripod, far targets again, this time small to large, and then prone KYL, this time small to large. So I know it's going to trip some people up, but as far as the tripod goes, basically anything goes. What your club has probably shouldn't have a ball head or anything attached to it. It should just be a flat plate like that. It does say that it is supposed to be 48 inches high, which this one is. So as far as gear for the stage goes, I'm going to stick with 2 bags. I'm going to have basically a bag as rear support and a bag that I'm going to use on the tripod. I think that's pretty much the way to go. Nothing else. You know, I would take some time to get this settled. At the beginning of the stage, this is not a time stage, and you're gonna have plenty of time. So take some time at the beginning of the stage to get that settled. And yeah, so we can start the trigger cam here, and we can see kind of what this might look like in practice. This is one of the more straightforward stages of the match. So we've got a timer set here for 2 minutes. We're gonna start all gear in hand. So I've got 2 bags. Timer goes beep. I'm going to drop 1 for my rear bag. I'm going to take my time, get this situated and settled. The far target is at 87, so I'm going to be dialed in parallax for those far targets. My bipod is deployed, so we're just going to find these far targets, large then small. We're going to go semi-auto. We're going to have to close that. We're going to have to flip it to fire, and we're going to go bang and bang, and then we're going to engage the safety, yell it safe. I'm just going to go straight underneath, find this. Probably going to do some dialing, probably down to 10th. I'm going to find the targets. I'm going to adjust parallax, plenty of time. So parallax for the near targets. We're going to flip back to fire, and then we're going to go bang, 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 and bang, flip back to safe. And now it's just going to be the same thing again. We left the bag there, so it should be a very familiar position. Again, find those targets, flip to fire. This time it's small then large. We should probably dial up. So we're going to dial, and we're going to go bang, bang, flip to safe, yell safe, dial down, parallax, all that good stuff. How are we doing on time? About 90 seconds down. So we have 30 seconds left, plenty of time on this stage. So we're just going to go back and forth. We're going to find the targets, take time to dial, take time to parallax, do what we got to do. Good breathing here, starting on a small target. Bang, 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 and bang. Now, we might have to wait for those targets to stop spinning. But like I said, this is a pretty straightforward stage. What was that? That was like... yeah, that was time there. So plenty of time. just getting in and out of the prone position. Take your time, dial for the far targets, then dial for the KYL target. Parallax for each. And yeah, bring 2 bags with you. Make sure your bipod is at a good height when you start the stage. And that's all there is to it. Yep, so 12 round stage. So if you have to do a mag change, maybe do it after the first prone position. So after the first 6 shots, you're down, you're prone, drop the mag, put the new one in, and then repeat the sequence, except this time going small to large on both engagements. I think that's really the only thing that's going to trip people up is first 6 are large to small, second 6 are going to be small to large. But other than that, this is one of the more straightforward stages. So let's just jump into the next stage where things get kind of dicey pretty quick. All right, stage 2 is called July 4th Block Party. This is the kitchen sink of barricades here. So we're gonna have stage description as follows. In the start signal, engage the targets from near to far, 1 shot each from the following positions. Top of the sawhorse, 2-gallon bucket, chair, seat, cinder block, 5-gallon bucket. Props may be used in any order and all props must be used. So 2 shots, we've got a 1.5 inch at 67 yards and a 3 inch at 93 yards. My dope data on previous engagement is about 0.3, 0.4, and 1.3, 1.4. So we're just gonna call it a mil difference between the two. So holders are probably appropriate here. As far as gear goes, this is a really annoying stage. I know a lot of people don't find these positions comfortable. I am wearing knee pads under these. I highly suggest you get the knee pads. You don't have to be cool like me and wear your Crocs in sport mode, but knee pads probably generally a great idea. I think the only real challenging position here is probably going to be the sawhorse, which can be a little wobbly. As you can see, I've actually put a plate bag on the front, and I think I'm going to run that. At least we're going to try it and see how it goes. The obvious solution is just a 1-bag solution, right? But with the plate bag out front and a combination of pump pillows, I'm going to try and make at least 4 of these modified prone. The only challenge is probably going to be the sawhorse, which I may bring a bag for because that's a little awkward. But everything else, if you have the right combination of pump pillows or you can borrow them at the match, you're going to have a much better time just doing modified prone for a lot of these. But that being said, we can take a look at what's going to be on the clock, whether or not I have time to manage all this gear. So we're going to turn the trigger cam on. We're going near to far. So 2 shots each position, not too bad, but man, tough on the knees. So we're going to start all gear in hand. 2 minutes on the clock. Ready, steady, go. I'm going to drop all this crap over here. You know what? Let's just see what a 1-bag solution might be like. I might bring this pump pillow in here for some support. Okay, this is pretty good. So we're going to go onto fire, and then we have to take 2 shots from here. Bang, and then holding over 1 for the far. Bang. All right, so that was the one position I'm worried about. Now the rest of these are going to be stupid simple with some modified prone action. Forgot to call out safe. I have to call that safe. And here we go. Bang and bang. Safe. Pick the gun up. Plate bag. And the reason we put the plate bag so far out front is the further distance between the 2 points of contact. Generally, the more stable we can be. This is dumb stable. Bang. Holding over 1. Bang. Stupid. Easy. So it looks like the 2-gallon bucket takes this small pump pillow, and then the chair and the 5-gallon bucket will take Coltac Mega Bag. So we're going to find this target, modified prone, bang, hold over 1, bang. Probably set your parallax safe. Set your parallax somewhere between the 2. How are we doing on time? 100 seconds down. 20 seconds to go, so there's plenty of time. Bang and bang. So, plenty of time. It's just really annoying getting in and out of all those positions. There was 2 minutes on the clock with the beep. And yeah. I mean, can you do it with one bag? Yeah, you're probably gonna be a little bit faster. Are you gonna be as stable in my position? You know, in my opinion, no. But you can just easily take a wedge-shaped bag, put it on each position. It's the getting in and out of positions, and maybe I should have been a little bit more efficient getting in and out of positions, but you know, if you just have a one bag solution here, see, you're like, without the multiple points of contact, you know, you definitely want to try maybe using your knee, your elbow, some combination, put some force into the prop, into the barricade. You can get stable, and it's going to be probably easier moving, not managing all this gear on the clock. But man, if you can move and you're flexible enough, you know, you're just kind of crab walking on your knees here like this as you go along. If you can do that and your knees aren't blown out, I think the 2 points of contact, especially because, again, having this way up here and this back here, you know, any minute movement is going to be, you know, much less than if these 2 points were very close together. So by getting in on here, I mean, this is like rock solid. And yeah, just having those 2 points of contact. So if you can borrow or bring these, I think the only weird one is this sawhorse. If I were to come up here, I'd probably have to do something like this, which is doable, but kind of awkward. So I might just bring a bag for that one, wedge-shaped bag, and go over the top. But other than that, I think that's how I'm going to do it. Let me know what you think down in the comments while I get set up for stage number 3. But this one's a doozy. So near to far, 5 positions, so 2 shots each position, 10-round stage. Just going to be a doozy getting in and out of those positions. But I think, like I said, if you can borrow some pump pillows, make every position a modified prone, it's going to be very stable if you can manage that amount of gear on the clock in the 2 minutes you're allotted for this stage. Option 2 is a part-time of 105 seconds. That's a little spicy. Then I would definitely probably go with the one bag solution. But other than that, let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me get set up for stage 3. Welcome back. Here's stage 3, red, white, and boom, 12-round stage, tank trap stage. Everyone should be pretty familiar with the tank trap. Everyone probably has their preferred method of doing it. We can kind of talk about what to do here. It's going to be near to far, 3 different targets. I'll put the distances down here, and following positions in order. Each tip and then the center. So it looks like we got to go tips first, then center. Typically, some people like to start in the center because it's the more, it's a position that is definitely easier to get more stable, lower to the ground, lower center of gravity, all that kind of stuff. So if you need to make a good wind call, people usually go in the center first, but I guess it says in order each tip. So we got to go 3 tips, then the center. 3 shots each, 4 positions. Typical tank trap stage. Tank trap tip should be pointing down range. They did change, believe it or not, the dimensions of the tank trap. So this is not what it's supposed to be. The knuckle is supposed to be up here, about 2 inches from the tip. So I need to change my tank trap. This is in the center of these 6-foot 4x4s. But that being said, I need to modify this to be up to specifications with the new tank trap designs, which they did not disclose about anything. They just changed them, didn't tell anybody. Fantastic. But that being said, near to far, dope is like 0, half a mil, 1 mil. So I think holdovers are appropriate. Probably going to parallax for that middle target, set it and forget it. I'm going to be operating about, 15-ish power, and that should give me enough depth of field and latitude that I'm not going to be all messed up with that. I will show you a cool technique that I have seen some people use with great effect, and that's to bring this giant mega bag for the far tip. So we're going to grab this, we're going to turn everything on, trigger cam, near to far 4 positions, not a terribly difficult stage. We're going to start all gear in hand. Here I have the attached bag. You could just as easily bring your favorite wedge-shaped bag, but we'll start all gear in hand like you're supposed to. Ready, steady, go. And actually I've seen people put this mega bag up here, put this out here, and use this as like rear support. Pretty cool. Give it a shot. So I'm gonna find a target, we're gonna load, and we're gonna go holding the 0, bang, holding 1/2, bang, and then holding 1. Boom. Safe, call safe. Find our next tip. Going to keep my legs straight, not bent. And I'm just basically going to spread them far enough that I can bang, bang, and bang. Okay, safe. So basically, when I'm going to the tips, obviously moving, keeping the gun pointed down range, squaring myself to the target like this, straight legs, spreading them as far as I need to in order to lean into the rifle and find a good position here. So let's concentrate. Bang, 1/2 mil. Bang, 1 mil. Bang. The rifle on safe. Last position is the center. Now we should be rock solid. We can even bring this pump pillow up here like this. Look at that. Put it on the leg. And we're going to go bang, holding 1/2, bang, 1 mil, bang. So that was like 100 seconds. Obviously, I'm going fast. Why am I saying bang? I'm not going to dry fire this rifle. The way this is set up, it's not really conducive to dry fire, so you probably hear me switching to safe, saying bang, pretending I'm racking the first round, all that good stuff, but not going to dry fire this one. But that being said, this is a pretty straightforward stage. Just remembering that you have to do the tips first. Maybe if you want to bring a mega bag with you for that front tip, make yourself a modified prone position with multiple points of contact. Might be a good idea to try. If you want an attached bag, that's fine. If not, bring your favorite wedge-shaped bag. Just move from tip to tip. But if you've been here for any length of time, tank trap stages are pretty ubiquitous. You probably have your own preferred way of doing it. But if it differs from what I do, let me know down in the comments. I always like to learn from my audience. And let's get ready for the next stage. All right, welcome back. Stage 4, Let Freedom Ring. This is one heck of an annoying stage. So we've got 3 tires in this weird position. And the stage description is as follows. We're gonna go prone. Positions can be used in any order. Okay, so on the start signal, engage a target with 2 shots from each position. Positions may be used in any order. Prone, left side. Tire 1, there's a left and right position. Tire 2, there is this peak position. Tire 3, the right side, and then prone on the right side. And we got a 3-inch target at 100 yards, double tapping it. It's a 12-round stage. This is kind of an annoying stage. Again, low to the ground, hard on your knees. So how do we go about this? There's quite a few different ways. I'm not even sure I can actually see my little dry fire targets from here because it's so much space horizontally, the stage itself is fairly wide because we have to go prone on each side. That being said, you can kind of see my rifle set up here. I have my bipod, I have the plate bag in the front, and much like stage 2 with all the different positions, essentially, think of it like this. We have 2 prone positions, so you have to figure out what you're going to do from there, left and right, but they're the same position, just on different sides of the barricades. Then basically we have left, right, and right. So left and right of the first tire, right side of the third tire. Those are all virtually the same position. So if you come up with a solution for one of those, you've now eliminated 3 more positions, and then you just have this one weird one up here. So that being said, I kind of like the idea of that front and rear support again. Obviously you can do one bag with a bipod. What do you do with the bipod? When do you do the prone positions? I would get the prone positions out of the way first. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start prone on the right side, go to prone on the left side, ditch the bipod, and then just go left to right for the remaining 4 positions. That's kind of my game plan. I would probably get those out of the way first, the prone positions, for a multitude of reasons. 1, you can ditch the bipod after, so it's not interfering with any of the other positions. And 2, you're probably gonna be the most stable, so if you have to make a bold wind call, you can really make sure it's the environment, not you, wobbling off of one of these tires. So get the prone shots out of the way first, get your good wind call, and then try and run the rest of the stage. So for me, it's gonna be prone right, prone left, and then left to right, position 1, 2, 3, and 4. I am going to leave that plate bag up there. I'm going to try and create multiple points of contact. I do need to bring a wedge-shaped bag for the prone positions, and that wedge-shaped bag is probably going to take the position up here and I might leave that for last, to tell you the truth, because that's just annoying. So let's just see how it goes. Lots of different ways to do this, but it makes sense in my head. Let's see if it kind of makes sense in practice here. So let's get this started. I need to bring a wedge-shaped bag for rear support. I'm going to bring this pump pillow for the rest of the positions. Can I see all the targets from these? We'll find out. Ready, steady, go. We're going to drop this. We're going to go prone right side. I can already tell I'm not going to be able to see that, so we'll just pretend this is my prone position. Bang and bang. Then we go prone left side. Can I see it? Maybe. We're gonna get prone. Click and bang. Here's where we can ditch the bipod. AccuTac quick release makes easy work of that. And now, just gonna try and set this up so that we have modified prone. Bang, bang. And then we're just gonna shuffle our way down here. Modified prone again. Bang and bang. It's only one target distance, so we're dialed and parallaxed for it. I'm gonna come all the way over to this position here. Bang and bang. These 2 points of contact make this dumb stable. Probably should have brought this bag over with me. I'm gonna get that nice and settled. Rifle settled. I'm gonna brace myself against the tire. This is probably the most awkward position. Bang and bang. I wonder if I could even, I could probably even wedge that in here like this. That was time, but yeah. Do something where I take this bag, wedge it in there. It's gonna depend on your tires. Tires are different. Each club, pretty much a wild card. But I think I like that idea, much like stage number 2, trying to get those 2 points of contact. If you don't have a plate bag, or you can't borrow one, or you can't borrow a big pump pillow in the rear, pretty much one bag solution. You're just carrying that the whole way through and just trying to get stable on wobbly tires. But if you have access to plate bag out front, pump pillow in the rear, those 2 points of contact and a modified prone really make the world of difference. But again, come up with a game plan, what you're gonna do for the prone positions off the bipod. You know, I'm gonna go prone, ditch the bipod, don't need it anymore, get this out of the way. Super stable positions, make good wind calls, try and run the rest of the stage. If you're one of those people who times out, runs out of time, maybe save this one for last, like I said, because you got the 2 prone positions, that's 4 shots that are similar. And then you have 6 more shots from the walls of the tire. So that's 6 more shots that are very similar. So you can kind of group those. If you find something that works for one of those positions, you have 2 more positions where that should also work, because it's just moving everything over, rebuilding the position, and then the one wild card is this one up here. So maybe save that for last. If you're someone who struggles with time management because it's the most awkward, and hey, if you get 10 clean shots off on a 12-round stage, that's pretty good. Those are my ideas. Let me know what you're gonna do down in the comments while I get set up for stage number 5. All right, time to wrap up the course of fire. We've got stage 5, the Independence Dash. We have 3 targets. I'll put the target sizes and distances down here. This is a no dial stage, so we can't dial elevation. We can dial windage and adjust parallax, but cannot dial elevation. So as far as my dope goes, it's like down a tenth, up a tenth, 7/10. So I might just keep it at 0 and just hold center or hold 0 for the first 2 targets and then hold 7/10 for the last target. Anyway, the stage description is as follows. On the start signal, engage the targets with 1 shot each in the following order and manner: from the barrel, near to far; from the ladder, far to near; from the barrel, near to far; from the ladder, far to near. And let's see, rungs of the ladder may not be repeated. So, that being said, we've got our ladder and our 55-gallon barrel drum that once held oyster sauce. Delicious. So, that being said, as far as gear goes, I am probably just going to take a bag like so, and maybe a pump pillow. Probably not going to need this. Luckily the rifle balances well enough without it. But I'm going to take this small pump pillow, and basically my theory is from the barrel we're going near to far. The third ladder rung is virtually the same height as the barrel, so I might go just straight across, try and keep things as similar as possible, knowing that we have from the ladder we have to go far to near. Back to the barrel, so that's going to be a quick 3 transitions because it's the same, basically the same height profile. And then I'm going to end on the bottom ladder rung, lower to the ground, most stable. I'm going to use that pump pillow as rear support. And then because I'm ending there, I don't have to worry about getting out of that modified prone position. I can just lay there until the cows come home, let the timer run out, that kind of stuff, take my time, obviously make my rifle safe, and exit the stage that way. But that being said, I think that's what I'm going to do. You know, I know we came up with maybe some creative solutions with multiple bags and this, that, the other thing to some other stages, but I think this is just a simple 1 bag kind of stage. Like I said, I am going to bring that pump pillow. What it's going to do is I'm going to take a kneeling position here. It's going to take up some of the space. Same thing on the ladder. So let's see what this looks like in practice. I'm going to start all gear in hand, get a timer going for 2 minutes. I'm going to start right here, and we're going to ready, steady, go. Timer goes beep. Bag down, rifle down, kneeling position. I'm going to bring this around, fill in the space with the pump pillow. I'm going to send the bolt home, take it off a safe. We're going to go bang, and then holding over about 0.7. Bang. We're going to make the rifle safe. Straight across to the third rung. Very similar height profile. This time far to near though, we have to remember that. So we're gonna get in here far, 7/10. Make the rifle fire and bang, then straight up, bang and bang. Make the rifle safe. We're gonna come out of here. Very easy transition, same height once more. Pump pillow, barrel, we're always near to far. We're on target, on glass. We can take the rifle off a safe. Bang, bang, and 7/10, bang, safe. Now we're gonna drop down to the lowest rung. I realize you probably can't see what I'm doing, so we'll move that out of the way. We're just gonna come down here. We're gonna use this as rear support. Make the rifle hot, far to near. Bang, bang, bang. And like I said, I can lay down here as much as I want. That was about 100 seconds off the clock. So I had 20 seconds to spare. So like I said, I can take my time. I can clear the magazine down here, make the rifle safe. All that good stuff. Ending here, low to the ground. Super duper stable. There's time. But that's what I'm gonna do. If you have your own preference, let me know down in the comments. Get you some 55 gallons of oyster sauce, delicious. But I kind of like that idea of barrel, third rung barrel, similar height profiles. So I'm gonna kind of repeat the same kind of position for me. Right knee up at a 90-degree angle, pump pillow, elbow down, rifle like this, and I'm translating that back and forth for the first 9 shots. And then the last shot, last 3 shots, last position, I choose to go something very close to the ground, and because I know I don't have to move from that position. If you're more comfortable standing, by all means, you know, take one of the higher rungs. If you don't like getting into that position or have trouble, you may want to go here, third rung here, fourth rung, right? Kind of keeping that upright stance. So whatever you feel most comfortable with. Generally speaking though, the lower you can get to the ground, the lower your center of gravity, naturally the more stable you'll be. So that's what I'm going to do. But I do like the idea of sort of this flat plane, third rung and this, just bouncing back and forth, keeping everything similar. Yes, it's a different prop, but it's a similar position. Build the same position, muscle memory, repetition, get stable, make good hits. That's going to wrap up the course of fire. I should bring you match footage. We'll see how this semi-auto goes. Taking it to a couple matches. I'm still working out some kinks. It's a little bit more temperamental than a bolt gun. But if you want to know more about it, let me know down in the comments. I can make some videos if you're part of the semi-auto gang and you know, something different than your typical 1022. Have a wonderful Independence Day. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Till I see you next time, as always, score more points.